I never thought I'd be writing this post. My name is Tamara, and until a week ago, I believed I had the perfect life with my husband, David, 38M. We've been married for 10 years, and I thought we had everything we could ever want. David is a respected local doctor, and I work as a high school teacher. We have 2 beautiful children, Emma, 8F, and Jack, 6M. Our friends always said we were the ideal couple, and I believed it too. But last week, my world came crashing down. I found out that David has been having an affair with his nurse, Emily, 28F, for over a year. The betrayal hit me like a ton of bricks, and I'm still struggling to process it all. It started when I noticed David becoming distant. He was working late more often, and when he was home, he seemed distracted. I chalked it up to stress from his job, but something felt off. Then, I started hearing whispers around town. At first, I dismissed them as baseless gossip. David and I had always been faithful to each other, or so I thought. The truth came out when I received an anonymous text message with pictures of David and Emily together. They were at a restaurant, holding hands and looking at each other in a way that made my stomach churn. I confronted David as soon as he got home that night. I showed him the pictures and asked for an explanation. To my shock, he didn't even try to deny it. He just sat there, looking defeated, and said, "I'm sorry, Tamara. I never meant for this to happen." I felt like I was in a nightmare. David, the man I had loved and trusted for over a decade, admitted to having an affair with Emily for the past year. He said they met secretly whenever they could, using work as an excuse. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. When I asked him why, his answer shattered me even more. He said, "I love Emily. It started as a friendship, but it grew into something more. I'm sorry, but I can't ignore my feelings anymore." I was furious. How could he do this to me, to our family? I yelled at him, demanding to know how he could throw away everything we had built together. He just sat there, looking guilty and conflicted. I couldn't stay in the same house as him. With tears streaming down my face, I packed a bag and left. I'm staying with my parents now, trying to make sense of everything. My mom and dad have been incredibly supportive, but I still feel lost and betrayed. David has been trying to reach out. He's called and texted, begging for forgiveness and a chance to explain. But I can't bring myself to talk to him. The man I thought I knew is a stranger to me now. I'm worried about our children. They're staying with David for now, as I didn't want to disrupt their routine more than necessary. But how am I supposed to explain this to them? How can I tell them that their father chose another woman over our family? Emily, the nurse he had an affair with, is young and ambitious. I've met her a few times at hospital events, and she always seemed nice. I never suspected she would do something like this. Now, I can't help but wonder if she pursued David because of his status and stability. I'm trying to stay strong for my kids, but it's hard. I cry myself to sleep most nights, wondering how I didn't see the signs. Was I too trusting? Did I ignore red flags because I wanted to believe in our perfect life? The worst part is, I still love David. Despite the anger and betrayal, a part of me misses him. But I don't know if I can ever trust him again. How can I look at him without seeing his betrayal? I'm not sure what to do next. Should I try to work things out for the sake of our children? Or is it better to make a clean break and start over? The thought of divorce terrifies me, but so does the idea of staying with someone who could hurt me so deeply. I've told a few close friends what happened, and their support has been a lifeline. Some have suggested couples counseling, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Others have advised me to lawyer up and protect myself. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm focusing on my kids and trying to keep things as normal as possible for them. But inside, I'm a mess of emotions, anger, sadness, confusion, and fear for the future. I never thought I'd be in this situation. I always believed David and I would grow old together, surrounded by our children and grandchildren. Now, that future seems like a distant dream. If anyone has been through something similar, I could really use some advice. How do you move forward when the person you trusted most in the world betrays you? How do you rebuild your life when everything you thought you knew turns out to be a lie? Thank you for reading this far. Writing it all out has been cathartic, even if it doesn't change the reality of my situation. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I need to be strong for myself and my children. Update: when it's been a week since I found out about David's affair with Emily, and so much has happened. I wanted to update you all and thank you for your supportive comments on my original post. First, I've decided to stay with my parents for now. It's giving me the space I need to think clearly and process everything. My kids are still with David, but I see them every day after school. It breaks my heart to see the confusion in their eyes, but we're trying to keep things as normal as possible for them. David has been persistent in trying to talk to me. After ignoring his calls and messages for days, I finally agreed to meet him in a public place to discuss our situation. I was nervous and angry, but I knew we needed to address things for the sake of our children. When we met, David looked terrible. It was clear he hadn't been sleeping well. He started by apologizing profusely, saying he had made the biggest mistake of his life. He claimed that his affair with Emily was over and that he wanted to work things out with me. I listened to him, but I couldn't bring myself to forgive him. The trust we had built over years was shattered, and I told him I wasn't sure if it could ever be repaired. He broke down crying, which was shocking to see. David has always been the strong, composed one in our relationship. But here's where things took an unexpected turn. As we were talking, Emily showed up at the cafe. She looked distraught and asked if she could join us. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Emily's story was not what I expected. She revealed that David had been lying to both of us. Their affair hadn't ended as he claimed. In fact, David had been promising Emily that he would leave me for her. She showed us text messages where David talked about starting a new life with her. I was stunned. Just when I thought the betrayal couldn't get any worse, it did. David sat there, looking pale and trapped. He couldn't deny the evidence in front of us. Emily then dropped another bombshell. She thinks she might be pregnant. She's not sure yet, but she's late and has been feeling nauseous. The possibility of a child born from their affair made everything even more complicated. I left the cafe feeling numb. The man I had loved and trusted for so long had been lying to everyone. He wasn't just cheating on me, he was manipulating Emily too. It was clear that David had been trying to have his cake and eat it too, stringing both of us along. The fallout from this revelation has been intense. Word of the affair has spread through our small town like wildfire. David's reputation at the hospital has taken a hit. I've heard rumors that the hospital board is considering disciplinary action against both David and Emily for their unprofessional conduct. As for Emily, I have mixed feelings. On one hand, she participated in the affair and hurt me deeply. On the other hand, I can see that she was also a victim of David's lies. She's young and made a terrible mistake, but David was the one who broke his vows and betrayed our family. My friends and family have been incredibly supportive. My best friend, Lisa, has been a rock through all of this. She's helped me look into my legal options and has been there to listen whenever I need to talk. I've decided to consult with a divorce lawyer. I'm not sure if I'm ready to take that step yet, but I want to understand my rights and options. The thought of ending my marriage is heartbreaking, but staying with someone I can't trust seems impossible. The children are starting to sense that something is wrong. Emma, our oldest, asked me yesterday when I was coming home. It broke my heart to see the worry in her eyes. Jack has been having nightmares. I know we need to tell them something soon, but I'm at a loss for how to explain this situation to them. David has moved out of our house and is staying with his brother. He keeps trying to convince me to give him another chance, saying he'll do anything to save our marriage. But how can I believe anything he says now? As for Emily, she's been put on leave from the hospital pending an investigation. I've heard she's considering leaving town to escape the gossip and judgment. Part of me feels sorry for her, even though I'm still angry about her role in all of this. I'm taking things one day at a time. Some days, I feel strong and determined to build a new life for myself and my children. Other days, the grief and anger overwhelm me, and I can barely get out of bed. But I'm trying to stay focused on what's best for my kids. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I can't go back to the way things were. The perfect life I thought I had was an illusion, and now I have to face reality. It's scary, but I'm discovering a strength in myself that I didn't know I had. Thank you all again for your support and advice. It means more than you know to have a place to share my story and feel understood. I'll update again when I have more news or if anything significant changes. Update 2: It's been a month since my last update, and the situation has taken some unexpected turns. I want to thank everyone for their continued support and advice. It's been a lifeline during this difficult time. First, the big news: Emily is indeed pregnant. She's about 10 weeks along now. This development has made everything even more complicated. David is torn between his responsibilities to our family and his unborn child with Emily. It's a mess, to say the least. But here's where things get really strange. Last week, I received an anonymous email with some disturbing information. The sender claimed to have evidence that David and Emily's affair wasn't just a personal matter, but part of something much bigger and more sinister. At first, I was skeptical. It sounded too far-fetched to be true. But curiosity got the better of me, and I started digging. What I uncovered shocked me to my core. It turns out that David hasn't just been cheating on me. He's been involved in a prescription drug scheme at the hospital. He's been writing fake prescriptions and Emily has been helping him distribute the drugs. They've been using their affair as a cover for their illegal activities. I was stunned. The man I married, the father of my children, wasn't just an adulterer, he was a criminal. I felt sick to my stomach thinking about all the lies and deception. Not knowing who to trust, I reached out to Lisa, my best friend who works as a paralegal. She helped me gather more information and evidence. We discovered that several other hospital staff members were involved in the scheme. I was torn about what to do with this information. On one hand, I was angry and wanted justice. On the other hand, he's still the father of my children, and I worried about the impact on them if this became public. After much deliberation, I decided to confront David with what I knew. His reaction confirmed everything. He broke down and admitted to everything, the affair, the drug scheme, all of it. He claimed he got involved to pay off some gambling debts and things spiraled out of control. Emily, it turns out, was more of a victim in all of this than I initially thought. David had manipulated her into participating in the drug scheme, using their affair and her feelings for him as leverage. When she found out she was pregnant, she wanted to come clean, but David threatened her. I was overwhelmed by all of this information. My world, which had already been turned upside down, was now completely unrecognizable. The man I thought I knew never really existed. In a strange twist, Emily and I have formed an unlikely alliance. She's agreed to testify against David and the others involved in the drug scheme in exchange for immunity. It's bizarre to find myself working with the woman my husband cheated on me with, but we're both victims of David's manipulation. The authorities have been notified, and an investigation is underway. David is facing serious legal troubles. He's been suspended from the hospital, and criminal charges are likely. As for our marriage, it's over. There's no coming back from this level of betrayal and criminality. I filed for divorce and am seeking full custody of our children. The lawyer Lisa recommended has been incredibly helpful in navigating this complex situation. Telling the children about the divorce was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Emma and Jack are understandably confused and upset. We've started them in therapy to help them process everything that's happening. I'm still staying with my parents, but I'm looking for a place of my own. I need a fresh start, away from the memories and pain associated with the house David and I shared. The support from my family and friends has been incredible. Even some of David's family members have reached out to offer their support to me and the kids. They're as shocked and disgusted by his actions as I am. As for Emily, she's cooperating with the authorities and is focused on her pregnancy. Despite everything, I can't bring myself to hate her. She's another victim in David's web of lies. I'm taking things one day at a time. Some days are better than others. I'm focusing on my children, my job, and rebuilding my life. It's not easy, but I'm discovering a strength in myself that I never knew I had. Thank you all again for your support. It means more than you know. I'll update again when there are significant developments in the legal case or in my personal situation. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and a lot has happened. I want to thank everyone who has followed my story and offered support and advice along the way. Your kindness has meant more than I can express. First, the legal situation with David has been resolved. He pleaded guilty to multiple charges related to the prescription drug scheme. He's currently serving a 5-year sentence in a minimum security prison. It's still hard to believe that the man I married ended up behind bars, but I've come to terms with the fact that I never really knew him at all. The divorce is final. I got full custody of Emma and Jack, with David having supervised visitation rights once he's released. The kids are still struggling with the situation, but they're in therapy and slowly adjusting to our new normal. We've moved into a new house, and it feels good to have a fresh start. Emily gave birth to a healthy baby boy 2 months ago. She named him Ethan. It's a complicated situation, but I've chosen not to harbor resentment towards an innocent child. Emily and I have maintained a civil relationship for the sake of all the children involved. She's moved to a nearby town for a fresh start and is focused on being a good mother to Ethan. As for me, I'm doing better than I ever expected. The past year has been the hardest of my life, but it's also shown me how strong I can be. I've returned to teaching full-time and have even started taking some evening classes to further my education. I've also started dating again, which feels both exciting and terrifying. It's a guy named Mark who I met through a local community group. He knows my history and has been incredibly patient and understanding. It's early days, but it feels good to know that I can trust and open my heart again. The children have met Mark, and while it's an adjustment for them, they seem to like him. Emma especially enjoys his dad jokes, which I find endearingly corny. Jack is a bit more reserved, but he's warming up slowly. I still have moments of sadness and anger when I think about everything that happened with David. But those moments are becoming less frequent and less intense. I'm learning to let go of the past and focus on the future. One unexpected positive outcome of this whole ordeal is that I've become an advocate for others who have gone through similar situations. I've started a support group in our town for people dealing with infidelity and betrayal. It's been healing to connect with others who understand what I've been through and to help them on their journey to recovery. As for David, I've chosen to limit my contact with him to matters concerning the children. It's not always easy, especially when the kids have questions or want to talk about him, but I'm doing my best to navigate this complex situation. Looking back on everything that's happened, I can hardly believe how much my life has changed in just a year. The pain and betrayal I felt when I first discovered David's affair seemed like a lifetime ago. While I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone, I've grown so much through this ordeal. I've learned the importance of self-reliance and the value of a strong support system. My parents, Lisa, and my other friends have been incredible throughout this journey. I don't know how I would have made it through without them. The children are resilient, but they still have their tough days. Emma sometimes gets angry and lashes out, while Jack has become more withdrawn. We're working through it together, and I'm proud of how they're handling such a difficult situation. I make sure to remind them every day that they are loved and that none of this is their fault. As for my relationship with Mark, we're taking things slow. He's patient and kind, and he understands that trust is something that needs to be earned over time. It's refreshing to be with someone who is honest and open about his feelings and intentions. I've also been focusing on self-care and personal growth. I've taken up yoga and meditation, which have been incredibly helpful in managing stress and finding inner peace. I'm also planning to run a half marathon next spring, something I never would have considered before all of this happened. There are still challenges ahead. David will be released from prison eventually, and we'll have to navigate co-parenting. Emily and Ethan will always be a part of our lives in some capacity. But I feel equipped to handle whatever comes my way. To those who might be going through something similar, I want to say this: it gets better. The pain doesn't disappear overnight, but it does lessen with time. Focus on yourself and your children. Surround yourself with supportive people. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. While I wouldn't have chosen this path for myself, I'm grateful for the growth and self-discovery it has brought. Thank you all again for your support throughout this journey. Your kind words and advice have been a source of strength and comfort. I may not update again for a while, as I'm focused on moving forward with my life. But know that your support has made a real difference in my life, and I'm eternally grateful.